Hi, my name's Gabe, and this is Super Mario Bros. 3 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This will be part 1 of a walkthrough that will lead you through the entire game. I'll try to go over pretty much everything. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. If you wait on the title screen for a little bit, you'll get a little animation of Mario and Luigi running around. And now we're presented with two options here. Two-player, very similar to the original Mario Bros, if you're familiar with that. In two-player mode, you switch between playing as Mario and Luigi, and the P1 and P2 controllers swap respectively. But of course, we're choosing one player. Alright, World 1 with 4 lives. Now, Mario 3 is the first Mario game to implement a world map system. So from here, you can get to different levels and there's a bunch of goodies on this map that you can get to. Now, levels like this, as you can hear, you can't get past until you beat them. You can go through Mario 3 without beating every level, but I will be showing off every level because this wouldn't be much of a walkthrough if I didn't. So use, it's intuitive, but use the D-pad and the A button to move around on the map and select stuff. Now once you're in a level, use B to run and A to jump, and the D-pad to move around. These are question blocks that will usually contain coins, but if you're lucky they'll have a power-up. If you collect 100 coins, you'll get a 1-up or an extra life. Now, in this one, this is a power-up. If you're little, you'll get a super mushroom for a power-up, and the super mushroom will always go the opposite direction of which side you've hit the question block from. So since I'm standing on the left side, I can anticipate the mushroom's going to come out to the right. Now I'm Big Mario, I can take an extra hit, and my hitbox is bigger, but I can duck to kind of negate that. The very first enemy you saw me hop on was a Goomba. They're the most basic. And then here's a Piranha Plant. This is the fire-breathing type. And Piranha Plants are one of the few enemies that you can't actually hop on. However, if you're standing right next to the pipe or on it, they won't come out. So there's some more Goombas. Here's a Koopa. The red ones won't walk off ledges, and the green ones will. So if you're running, holding the B button, and you walk into the side of a shell, you can actually pick it up. And when you let go of the B button, you'll throw it, and it'll bounce off stuff. And it will hurt you if you get in its path, so watch out for that. But if you hold it for too long, the Koopa will actually wake up in your arms. So be careful of that. Another Goomba right there. Here's a winged Goomba. Just hop on him twice to take him out. Some winged Koopas flying around. Now here is a Raccoon Leaf, and if you're Big Mario, you'll be able to get advanced power-ups like this. But with a Raccoon Leaf, you can still run with the B button, but when you press B, you'll actually swing your tail. This can knock out nearby enemies, and then if you're falling, if you press A repeatedly, you'll fall much slower. There's a normal Piranha Plant, and then one that spits fire. There's another Koopa. Use him to destroy some blocks. There's the hurry up music because I'm running out of time. You can see in the bottom. There's a P-switch. When you hit it, brick blocks will turn to coins, and coins will turn to brick blocks for as long as the music is playing. And we've reached the end. Now if you're running at P speed, if that meter below is flashing with the P, and you hit the bottom left of that box, you'll always get a star card. And that'll be important later on. As you can see, I have one of my little card things filled up at the bottom there. Alright, 1-2. This is a more out in the wild level. If you hold down on slopes, you'll slide and you can take out enemies. Another winged Goomba. Take him out in one hit with your tail. There's a technique called duck sliding, where you run and you duck at the last second to fit under one tile gaps when you're big, and that won't be mandatory for a while, so don't worry about that too much. There are note blocks. Occasionally we'll have stuff in them like that. But, basically they function as springs, so you time your jump to jump high on them, and if you don't, you'll jump low. Here's a better demonstration. Now on this note block, if you hit it from below, you can actually get this superstar, which makes you invincible for a short period of time. And also functions like a mushroom, so you want to stand on the opposite end of where you anticipate to catch it. There's a different type of flying Goomba that'll drop little baby Goombas on you that'll try to weigh you down, which can be pretty annoying. So you'll want to take them out as fast as possible. Now we're at the end. So grab the star. Alright, on to level 3. That's a boomerang, bro. He'll throw 2 boomerangs at a time, but he still only takes 1 hit. So wait for him to throw 2 boomerangs and then take the opportunity to take him out. There's another red Koopa. Sometimes they'll get opportunities like this to destroy a bunch of blocks. Now, note blocks color this tan color. When you bounce off of them, you'll actually fly way up into the sky to some cloud sections and mini-games where you can collect coins, but those skip large portions of the level, so I won't be doing those. Now also, sometimes when you find vertical hard blocks like this, if you're running into it from the side, you'll actually knock it, and usually they'll contain power-ups like that. You can also use them to take out enemies if you time it right. There's another boomerang, bro. Now I should probably mention, so that P meter at the bottom, you can fill it up when you're running for a continuous segment. You can also run over 1-tile gaps. But when it's flashing, and you have a tail, like a raccoon leaf, you can actually fly if you press the jump button over and over, which can be handy in certain situations. Now, you see, there's a lot of these like floating platforms, but on this particular white one, if you duck on it for about 5 seconds, you'll actually fall down through the level and you'll be like behind these bushes. And if you run at top speed to the end of the level, you'll get to a special section that contains a warp whistle. And you can use warp whistles on the world map to go to the warp zone and skip worlds. And it depends on the amount of worlds you can skip, depends on the world that you're in and stuff. But, that's how you get one of them. Now you'll see, you know, I got this huge animation because I got 3 star cards in a row. When you get 3 cards in a row, you get a bonus at the end of the 3rd stage, right? So if they're mismatched, you'll get 1 up. If they're all mushrooms, you'll get 2 up. If they're all flowers, you'll get 3 up. And if they're all stars, which is the best one, you'll get 5 up. Now, on the map, you'll also come across these toad houses. And when you go into a toad house, you'll have like 3 chests that you can pick from. And they each contain power-ups and items that you can use on the world map. So if I'm on the world map and I press B, I can actually see my little item bank, and I have a raccoon leaf in there. And if I used that with A, I would become Raccoon Mario for the next level. However, I'm already Raccoon Mario, so I don't really need that. So let's go to level 4 of World 1. This is an auto-scrolling platformer. These are very frequent in Mario 3. And I'm pretty sure it might only be this one that those moving platforms will fall. So, just look out for those. The raccoon leaf can be a very nice power-up to have for platformers, since you can kind of glide around and you don't really need to worry about making jumps too much. However, if you lose it like that, they're still possible. And these beginning levels really are not too bad. You can mess around a lot and still not lose a life. These brick blocks, if you're big, you can break them, but if you're little, you can't. Although sometimes they will contain secrets. Alright. Now this is a hard setup to get a star in because of the geography. But, you can try. But I'm not gonna get it here. There's just not enough space to run. So, you can try to time it to get a few power-ups in a row, but if you can't get a star, usually it's pretty hard. Now you'll also come across these little spade squares, and these are mix and match mini games. So as you can see, you can only get one try. And so you time this by pressing A at the right time, and you want to line up these to make a picture. Now this has some really weird timing to it. From my experience, you want to tap it maybe a bit later. I'm not sure, honestly. These are pretty... that was definitely not it. These are pretty hard to get. Alright, so we're about to enter a fortress. There's always at least one fortress in each world, so I'm gonna prepare myself with a raccoon leaf. So there's lava, it'll kill you, and that's a Podoboo. It's just a jumping fireball that you gotta be patient with. There's a fire flower. Now if I grab this fire flower, I turn to Fire Mario, and I lose my Tanuki abilities. So with this, the B button shoots fireballs, and you can have 2 on screen at a time. This is useful for taking out enemies at a distance. Here's a, spinning, not sure what to call it, waffle. Avoid these Podoboos. Here's a chance to get a raccoon leaf if you want it. If you grab a raccoon leaf in this area and you P-speed and you fly up past the ceiling right here, and you land on the ceiling and you run to the right, you'll actually get to a door, and when you press up to go into it, you'll get to the second warp whistle. And there's only 3 warp whistles in the game. So you can use that to skip worlds. Now, what I'm shooting right here is a dry bones. It'll never actually die, unless it like falls off a cliff. And fireballs don't hurt it, but you can stun it temporarily by jumping up. Again, you press up to go through doors. And here's a little neat little section where you gotta wait for the ceiling to go up and come back down and dodge pits. Wait for this door to come up. Alright, now here's the end of the fortress. And at the end of every fortress, you're always gonna fight some variation of Boom Boom, who's this crazy Koopa looking guy. And so you can hit him with fireballs and stuff, but if you don't have fireballs, he'll always take 2 bounces to kill. And with that, we've defeated our first Boom Boom and cleared the castle. Alright, off to level 5. But before we do, I want to point out that when you beat a castle, it crumbles, and usually like some bridge will form or some keyhole will disappear. And that's because when you get a game over in Mario 3, when you lose all your lives, you'll go back to the beginning of the world that you were on. And all the levels will reset, except the fortress and whatever shortcut the fortress made. So you can replay the levels if you want to, but if you want to get right back to around where you started, the fortresses serve as checkpoints almost, so you can skip right to level 5. Alright, this is a underground level, and this is our first experience with water. You press A to swim around in it, and you hold up to like jump out of it. This is a Buzzy Beetle. Fireballs don't affect it, and it works like a Koopa where you can pick up its shells. and use them as weapons. A lot of these levels in Mario 3 have branching paths. So, you know, you can feel free to take whatever path you'd like. But, I'll be taking whatever path I'd like. And there's tons of secrets everywhere, so don't feel afraid to poke around and try different pipes and stuff. I don't think I mentioned this, but you go down and up pipes by using down and up. See if I can get a fire flower here. Nope. So it looks like I'll just be getting 1 extra life when I complete 3 levels. Alright, so here's what's, I like to call them world hazards. You can call them whatever you want, but basically sometimes you'll have encounters with enemies on the world map, and usually they're Hammer Bros. So when I walk into this guy, this crazy music plays and I'm thrown into a Hammer Bro battle. And my goal is to defeat this guy, and I'll be rewarded with an item that I can use on the world map. Now he'll take 1 hit from fireballs, but if you don't have fireballs, the easiest way to kill him is to go under him and then hit the block that he's standing on. And I got a star this time. Stars aren't super useful for levels, but they can be useful for encounters like that, where you can just instantly take him out, because they'll run out so fast after the start of the level. Alright, level 6. This isn't an auto-scroll, but it's still an up-high platformer. I'll take the raccoon leaf since I'll be doing a lot of platforming this level. So, as you can see, we're encountering a lot of platforms on tracks. Sometimes they'll be constantly moving, and other times they will be waiting for you to step on them and then they'll start moving. And then get off as soon as possible and the track ends. There we go, 1 up. Alright, so now you see a moving kind of like card has appeared on the world map, and if I go back to get it, this is kind of a memory game, and when you match cards, you'll get the prize that is on the card. Now they're different every time you play. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that better. So there's a few different types of this game, right? There's a few different layouts that you can get. And you'll have the same layout every time until you complete it, and then it'll switch to a different one. So if you have like an image of like all like 5 layouts or whatever it is, you can actually determine what layout you're on from like the first 2 cards you find, and then you can kind of cheat and do everything, but I think that kind of takes the fun of it. So we got a mushroom there and 20 coins there. And remember, you can only miss twice. That's a star. That's a flower. Okay, so I gotta remember that for next time. Usually the first 2 or 3 times you won't be able to get anything. Here's another toad house. So again, it's random. There's 3 random items. You can get good ones and bad ones. Alright, now let's cross the bridge to the final castle of this world. Oh, it's terrible! The king has been transformed. Please find the magic wand so we can change him back. So, in all 7 worlds of Mario 3, the king will be transformed into some animal, and you're gonna have to save him by getting the wand back from the mischievous Koopa kid who stole it. And they live on these airships, these like big auto-scroll things with lots of cannons and bullet bills. Bullet bills operate similar to piranha plants, where they won't come out if you're standing on top of it or next to it. And these these cannons and projectiles will kind of like drift with the ship, so you know, it's a little tricky sometimes. And it's a different Koopa Kid boss at the end of every airship level. So this time, if we go on the pipe, it's Larry. This is like the most easy Koopa Kid, I guess. You hop on his head, he like bounces around once, shoots projectiles. Like with pretty much every boss in this game, just 3 hits and he's down for the count. I'll drop the wand. And we have beaten World 1. So Mario does this majestic falling through the sky. Oh, thank heavens, I'm back to my old self again. Thank you so much. Here is a letter from the princess. Throughout the game, Princess Peach will send you letters that contain little items, but then also hints. Greetings. If you see any ghosts, be careful. They will give chase if you turn away. I've enclosed a jewel that helps protect you, Princess Toadstool. So she's talking about boos, and they're these little ghost enemies, and if you look the wrong way, they'll chase you super fast, so you always want to keep an eye on them. And we'll see them in the second world. And as you can see, the little item she has attached is a P-Wing. And P-Wings equip you with a raccoon leaf and a permanent P-meter for 1 level. So you can basically just fly over the entire level and skip it if you want. So if it's like a super tricky platforming level, you should probably use a P-Wing. But the infinite P only lasts for 1 level. And then after that, you'll still keep the raccoon leaf, but you won't have the P anymore. Alright, and we'll move on to World 2, which is the desert world. And we'll get into this in the next video. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.